Sega. Oh, yeah. This is off to a really professional start. Hey guys, welcome to the Videofest of Batman Forever. It's called a Videofest, that's what everyone calls it. And I was not told beforehand that it is not called a Videofest anymore. I was told we always call them Videofests.
It was never called Videofest. That was just us. We're special. Batman Forever is a game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's...
If the bat wants to play, we'll play.
Now that really does bring back memories.
Oh yeah. This is... I own this game, and that's actually the specific reason I picked the Genesis version is...
Yeah.
I owned it as a kid, I played it, and I tolerated it, because that's what you did when you were a 90s kid with the Genesis.
Yeah, and it was Batman. I played the SNES version of this game at a friend's house all the time. It's almost the same game, except it doesn't have any voice clips, to my knowledge. I don't think it does anyway.
No, yeah, that was one weird thing. It doesn't have the wind poses. Like enemies will actually like taunt you in this game if you die.
Yeah,
and that was and that's weird because I generally expect the SNES versions to be better.
I'm pretty sure that every time it looks like it's mode 7ing something, it's just frame animated.
Yeah.
Which probably actually we know for a fact in the SNES version that it is done with real mode 7, because remember the emulator would always lag to shit whenever it, because it had that sequence where you're driving through a maze, or not a maze, but it's like you would drive through the city map to get to whatever your destination is, and the emulator would always super lag during that. It's pretty smooth animation though, the enemies' names appearing and disappearing.
Yeah, it's really nice. I don't actually think that's in the SNES version either, if I remember correctly. It's like the bars don't look as nice. It's strange.
I feel like I remember them growing from a central point.
There might have been something. I just remember...
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fact that Batman and Robin's bars look different. I remember something being different there. But,
yeah, I think the UI is just totally different in the SNES version. But this isn't the SNES version.
Props to them for putting a lives counter that's just a little tiny number in the middle. Just
in, like, Arial, or whatever.
Small fonts, whatever. Oh my god.
In a game that seems to be obsessed with hiding the fact that it's pixelated as thoroughly as possible.
I just
what is a ragwort?
The SNES version is loading screens.
Yeah, on a cartridge game. What is a ragwort?
Oh, I don't know.
That is going to be...
We have to come up with as many names as possible, so...
The reason we know we can do this game in a video all the way through and keep having things to talk about, despite the fact that we've done it before, is because of all of the fucking names. Like Anglophile.
I love Anglophile. Like, what?
He's like, I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm just an Anglophile. Why did you put me in Arkham Asylum? Next to Riff and Raph. And I'm rooming with a guy named Freak. I'm just an Anglophile. I guess I'm not even really sure what that means exactly.
Anglophile? What is it, like you love Britain or something?
Maybe? I'm going to look it up. Not that I want to interrupt the legendary duel between Clawhammer and Creep. Well, not Batman and Clawhammer and Creep, rather. So, oh shit, I have ads.
Oh my gosh, you're the best.
Okay, hang on. Yep. Level 1 enemies. So it's like Doom.
Yeah. Except
I always
a lot of the stuff is just in secret areas. Like a lot of the enemies are just packed away.
I always did like this Batman logo with like the Riddler question mark around it.
Yeah.
It's also probably because this movie is one of my first real exposures to Batman.
Oh god. I think I saw the movie with you for the first time when I saw it.
Yeah, I remember that. I hadn't seen it in a long time. Okay, so this is the actual beginning of the fucking movie.
Oh, yeah. The Asylum thing is just like, well, it's Batman, so... God. So this game is made by the people who ported Mortal Kombat to the... I think Genesis and Super Nintendo, but...
Well, there's... Midway are the people... Yeah, I guess Acclaim did the port of Mortal Kombat to the consoles, and then they used that code or something to make this.
Yeah, and it's like really weird to have like a side-scrolling fighting game, or like a side-scroller that controls like a fighting game, but it's even weirder that there is an actual Mortal Kombat side-scrolling fighting game in Sub-Zero Mythologies.
Oh yeah, I watched the Retro Prey of that.
Yeah.
I also watched the Retro Prey of Darkseid.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Not Midnight.
No.
Oh my god. I forgot. Yeah, Darkseid.
They go for the weird names immediately. Oh yeah, I was gonna look up what Anglophile means. That's when the ad hit.
Yeah, well there you are.
Let's see.
That's me beating the shit out of you for that ad shenanigan.
Yeah. Yeah, a person who is fond of or greatly admires England or Britain. That's all it means.
Oh god,
and samurais are fist fighters in jumpsuits. Actually, no, that isn't a jumpsuit. That's a suit.
Yeah, it's a two-piece suit. And he has like a claw hand and then a flame-throwing shotgun. I like the enemy designs in this game. I will actually give it that. Like, they could have been more generic and like, because they're essentially actual fighting game characters. They have an entire move list, you know. It isn't just like a beat 'em up enemy who just has like the punch, kick, throw, and then that's it. Like these guys have entire move sets, which is
I also
interesting.
appreciate the long player shaking it up and not just using like the most like efficient combo or whatever. I don't even know if it matters what buttons you press, but he's just punching over and over.
Well, it's not like dog. There's not really combos as much as it is just like there are certain moves that are just like too damn good. Because that's what the UI at the beginning is like of every level is. You actually select two of your moves as Batman or Robin. And
I wish we'd known which moves were broken when we were playing the game. Bloodfire.
So we got Midnight Bloodfire. You say we were playing. I don't think we were playing it. I think I was playing it.
I choose to remember that we were playing it.
Things we did all those videos, but I think I was the one doing all the actual like leg work.
You know, if they wanted to, I just ignored that. if we wanted to, like, okay, how many enemies do you think are in this game? And I don't mean types of enemies. I mean how many names do you think they had to come up with? Maybe about 500?
I'm guessing at least 100.
I mean I'm guess actually if we could look at like 100% enemy completion or whatever, like we could see, or maybe I mean I don't care enough to actually check, but let's say there's 500 names in this game.
Okay.
Couldn't you come up with 500 names that are just names? Like Steve?
That's boring. It's got to be Centaur and Sirius, and Nemesis.
I mean, Sirius is a name. Nemesis is, however, not a name. It's like every single dude in this group of thugs is like, hey man, I'm new here. You guys gotta call me Numbat. You know?
I want to see
like, right on Numbat. Yeah, Numbat.
I want to see like the little like henchman who walks up just like, my name's Dominator. It's like this little shrimp who's, you know, working for someone else, like, oh, he's the Dominator.
Before I give you this file, I will go back and re-record me saying, hell yeah, Numbat, because it peaked. It will be seamless. It will all be thanks to movie magic. Because I have this tuned so that my mouth, like my lips are basically brushing the windscreen on it. They're so, like, I have it tuned that way so I can have maximum control over what I'm doing. That means that if I yell, I have to remember to back the fuck off the microphone.
Well, you're just being very
which I frequently do not do. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you hear that? It's like a scritchy, scritchy, scritchy. This is really professional. Scritchy, scritchy. I don't even know if you can hear that.
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
This background always confused me, honestly. Like, as a kid, I could not figure out what the fuck I was looking at.
Well, like, it's moody shadows and whatnot, but it's like, this is when, you know, I can't ever decide how into the idea of a Gotham that just looks as creepy and gothic as possible I am. Because it's like, does everything have to have, like, creepy statues? Literally everything?
I guess those are plants.
Like, this is a bank.
Yeah.
Water,
I honestly couldn't...
water plants.
Like the thing on the right there that you can blow up. That thing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, those are plants, and they are gray, just as plants are, and they blow up just as plants do.
I do.
That
like
is the worst voice in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That voice sample is terrible, but I do like the Riddler. Like, there's like actual hints for secrets in the game. I think that's a neat concept because it works with the Riddler.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's like how in you know what they do with him in the Arkham games.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's a great, and it is really funny how he's always like, you can't possibly solve these riddles, Batman, and it's like, they are well-designed riddles for the purpose of being a video game, but they're not genius-level riddles. You know, it isn't this, like... Yeah.
Like early game where it's just like, oh, here's, like, the base riddle. It's like, oh, he'll never figure this out. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, turn around. Oh, shit. Okay, so... I mean, I hadn't seen the movie when I was a kid. I really didn't know what the fuck was going on here.
Oh, there's no way to know what's going on here. There's no way to because there isn't a cutscene that shows them, and that wouldn't have been hard to do. They have the models. These are clearly rendered from models. They could just show like or they could even just show like, you know, explosions in the foreground, and then this part of the because they have this background flying past it, so they could have just had like it go out of the bank.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
I mean, you have to, because you're on a big safe.
Yes, this is the vault. Because that's how you... because two movies did this. Well, not movies, but two stories did this. One was Batman Forever. The other one was Saints Row 3.
Oh, man.
That's how Saints Row 3 opens, is you steal the entire vault out of a bank and fly it off.
I think there was a scene in Fast and Furious where they, like, drive off with a whole vault, like, attached to a car, and they have, like, an entire chase sequence, and I think they, like, fling it through the air to knock someone out of the sky. Like, that fucking Fast and the Furious is stupid.
One would think that if you, no matter how finely tuned your car was, if you were toting a bank vault, you would drive much slower than even the most cursory attempts to catch you would be. You know?
Fast and the Furious has a sequence where people are driving in cars to run away from a submarine.
Dude, I have only seen the first one, which was a pretty good movie, but I do have a lot of respect for how the franchise has just turned into, like, The Rock and whatever his name is just having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're just doing whatever they want.
I'm
Bilbo.
a little surprised getting back to the game. I'm a little surprised that out of the very few amount of enemies they have two enemies who are entirely relegated to just one stage apiece. because this is entirely clowns, and then the first level was entirely the inmate. And
Yeah.
that's all they ever get to see.
Well, didn't they have, like, some distinct moves between them, or maybe, like... I'm like, oh, the green ones are the only ones that can do this move.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably not. They probably didn't do that, actually,
No,
but...
you're actually right. They each have, I think, 3 special moves apiece, depending on the palette.
Okay.
So, I couldn't tell you what most of them are. Like, I know one is like, for the Thug 1, creative name. One has the chainsaw, and the other one just has some other weird stuff, like he can fucking, cabal spin real fast into the ground to teleport. But the
I'm gonna
clowns...
go ahead and say this. It isn't really Batman Forever's fault, because they were doing Dick Grayson's origin story, but this would be the 3rd Batman movie in a row to heavily involve clowns. Because the first one was the Joker. Fair enough, it's the Joker. The second one, it was the Penguin and Catwoman, and the only reason they were there is because Tim Burton loves clowns. There was no reason for them to be there. It was just like, hey, I'm Danny DeVito, I'm gonna throw some clowns at you. Like, you know, and that was... Maybe? I'm sure there were clowns. Because it was Tim Burton. It had to have clowns in it.
It was Tim Burton, yeah.
But now it's like, oh, okay, the Flying Graysons, yeah, they have to do the Robin story, even though it's like, ah, you're an acrobat. Want to fight guys?
Even as a kid, though, like, not knowing what was going on here, like, there's something about Batman fighting clowns that just feels so natural that, like, I didn't even question it. Like,
oh, yeah, well, because the Joker, you know?
Yeah, like, it works for him.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, I'm not a guy to always latch onto, like, grimdark reboots or whatever, but, like, okay, like, I remember reading somewhere that in the backstory of the Arkham games, Tim Drake's backstory is that he's basically a kid, and he lost his family. Thing. I actually don't know what the backstory of the real Tim Drake is, but he lost his family or whatever, and like was like, oh, Batman, I want to be the next Robin. I want to fight with Batman, and so he like became an obsessive Batman fan more or less, and got like all these different like videos of him fighting, and like brutally trained himself to fight guys. And then he was like, hey, Batman, I'm your new Robin. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's like, it's like, oh, it's all grimdark, and he's doing CrossFit, and he's, you know, But it's like, yeah, you would need to do that. You know,
Yeah.
if you wanted to be Robin, 1, you would need to be older than 16, and 2, you would need, I mean, not actually CrossFit, because CrossFit's terrible, I've heard, but, like, you know, you would need to not be, oh, yeah, I'm a trapeze artist. That's the main thing I do. Can you dodge bullets? I sure can. You know?
I can jump. It's like, alright.
Would a lack of pants be a deal breaker for you? Nah, I'm fine. I don't need my legs to move around, so if I get shot in the leg, that's okay.
So in order to fight bad guys, you might have to, know how to throw a punch? Maybe?
And, wave a stick at a guy.
Oh, yeah, you know, you've got a stick, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting to see Robin in this playthrough, I don't think.
No.
But, I mean, he's basically the same as Batman. I don't know if there's really any difference between him and Batman other than visually. He has that shield thing, I guess, but...
Yeah, they have different moves, most of the selectable moves, but, and some of their stuff works a little differently, but it's not a big deal. I just remembered something, though. Remember how I mentioned the DOS version?
Mm-hmm.
For some bizarre reason, all of Robin's sprites are completely new for that version. It's like his design looks more like the movie rather than the more comic booky one that he gets here.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, actually, I'll look up the Robin design for Batman Forever.
It's
Forever Robin.
It's like just darker looking, like it's still green and red, but it's like the colors are more muted, and he's got
okay, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like the version that's in this game, which you can't see, is not a bad representation of it.
No.
But oh man.
Given that it's more similar to...
What? Sorry, I couldn't hear you over. Yeah.
Given that it's more similar to the movie, I almost want to say that the DOS one came first, but then they were just like, yeah, these colors will not stand out at all on, like, a Genesis.
It might be... It could either be that, or it could be... The DOS version came later, and they had more access to what the movie was going to look like. That happens when in toy collecting all the time. It'll be like, oh, yeah, some of the Avengers figures from the movies. It'll be like, this looks a little bit different from the way it does in the movie because it was based on a slightly earlier version of the costume, and that's pretty common actually. Like the first Marvel Legends Ant-Man figure, it has like the bottom half of his face is exposed, like Batman's or whatever, and that was before they redesigned the costume, because in the movie it's established that when you are ant-sized, you can't breathe normal air because your molecules are smaller or whatever, so you have to have like a totally enclosed environment in the suit. So it's like, okay, so here's Ant-Man, and he just can't be Ant. Because he'll die.
I want to, real quick, before I forget, mention that this game controls like an ass and a half. From what I remember, the SNES version's worse, but the funny thing about this game is it's actually a lot better with a 6-button controller, which I was lucky enough to have. Because it actually has button mappings for different attacks. Like the grapple is the Y button, and then block is B.
So this would have been the other game that the 6-button control was useful for.
It would be the first.
Well, the first one would be the port of Street Fighter, which isn't good enough to have, but it definitely would not be Eternal Champions because no one bought that game.
Yeah. And then there's also the fact that, yeah, it was weird, like, the grapple is like A and C together, or something weird like that, with a 3-button controller. It's awful. And, it sounds like okay, but you're talking about hitting them, like, at the exact same time, without moving, and if you do it just a little bit wrong, you get the other attack instead. So, and then there's the gliding. The gliding is the one that gets me the most, because it's just, you press up in midair, and you'll start gliding, and whatever the fuck happened, I don't know, but that doesn't work, like, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, in every other game that's ever been made, if you can glide, you just press jump again. Oh, but jump is up in this, yeah. So it's, that's gross.
I mean, double jump is a thing in fighting games. Like, you can do up again in midair. It's not hard. It's just for some reason, like, you have to press it at a specific point in your jump, and you can't, like, press left or right during it or something, and I don't know. It's weird.
It's good that you don't, it's not like a fundamental gameplay mechanic in this, you know, like, you do need it a little bit, but it's not like it is in, like, the Arkham games. It's like you're gliding all the fucking time.
No, there are actually sections in this game where you need to glide to progress, so...
Oh, I know, but it's not like that much.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Is it fair to say that the game controls as well as it looks like it does? Because as good as the animations are, there's still, like... It's very clear that something very stiff is happening here.
I don't feel like it's, like, for, like, general combat, the controls aren't terrible. It's just that it's a weird idea to have fighting game controls in something where you can turn around. I also want to point out, what the fuck is that shit, like, the damage floor?
That is, a water hazard from the Amiga version of Pitfall. I don't fucking know.
This area is fucking annoying. It's the giant screws that you have to, like,
you have to,
jump
like,
off of.
Indiana Jones swing around or whatever.
Yeah. Like, you have to, like, guess the right one, because... And you can also glide in between some of those, too, so you might throw yourself off by gliding when you shouldn't. It's like a really bad Donkey Kong Country with the barrels, but...
This game was the inspiration for Donkey Kong Country, or Donkey Kong DK King of Swing.
There you go.
Where the fuck? Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
I love that single sprite too.
They couldn't just have it flutter a little bit, just a little flutter.
One frame, just one frame.
Now,
alas. Sure.
This fight.
So here's the character.
Well, not this fight, but the fight after this one is actually quite clever.
I just love that these two characters look nothing like this in the movie. Like they don't.
Oh,
even
they
look
couldn't look less like this. Yeah.
They don't look similar to each other, much less like this.
Yeah, they shouldn't be palette swaps with each other. That is not the point of them.
Oh my god. And Two-Face. I do want to bring up this game has a battle mode where you can fight the AI or a friend like a fighting game. And it is so badly balanced, I think just about everyone has an infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, at the very least, there are moves that stun, and they link into it themselves, like,
this player isn't really letting him do it, but when Two-Face is when depending on which side of him is facing the camera, he'll do different moves, and his stance is different, and he's basically a different fighting game character, which is really clever. But what were you saying about infinite moves?
Like, you could have moves that stun somebody, and then you could just keep doing them over and over. It's literally like they just stun permanently until they're dead because it does damage.
It's like a stun lock or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Two-Face. It's funny because I actually cannot think of another example of that ever happening in a fighting game, like asymmetrical sprites. Like I know Gil from Street Fighter 3 has a palette effect that makes him look asymmetrical, but it's still a palette effect. It's not an actual asymmetrical sprite.
Well, and even if there was, certainly you can't think of an example of the gameplay changing. You know?
No, absolutely not.
Like, and that's really clever. Just a shame the game it's in is garbage.
It also tends to be a little awkward, but I mean, it's Batman Forever, so of course it is.
I mean, look at what we're watching. Yeah.
Yeah, he was tripping a guy by hitting him in the head over and over again. Oh my god. I love
that sound actually reminds me of a sound I heard in a One Piece YouTube poop.
I love the giant switches.
Yeah, that you kick or whatever.
Yeah, you have to kick them.
Because they're high up, you see. And your legs are the only limb that can reach that high. Because your legs are longer than your arms, you see.
I'm trying to remember, like, so we have the chainsaw guy, the two-piece suit guy who has the flamethrower and the
Centaur? We already fought Centaur!
Oh yeah, they start reusing names. They definitely do.
Come on! You clearly didn't care about the quality of them to begin with, just put more of them in!
Ran out of memory. So we have the inmates who... One of them has electricity powers? I guess it's like the electric chair or something? I don't know. And then one of them has, like, poison gas and can Hulk out. Just kind of weird.
And that's something they would do more with in Arkham Asylum. The characters hulking out, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the electric chair is the only thing I can think of for that, is because, like, there aren't any Batman villains with electricity powers except for Livewire, who's a girl, and... yeah.
Probably no one remembers, or at least not, you know...
I mean,
like, for the sake of a movie.
She was in the animated series. That's where she debuted, and so she's kind of like, people that know the animated series know her, and more people know the animated series than know the comics, generally speaking. At least the kids my age, but...
Not the one from the Superman cartoon, right?
I believe she was also in the Superman cartoon, yeah.
Huh.
She might have actually been from the Superman cartoon originally, I can't remember.
Link! Bye.
If you go too far down the electricity powers rabbit hole in DC, though, you get to, like, Black Vulcan and shit like that, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable.
Pincher!
Wait, is it Black Vulcan or Black Lightning?
Oh, yeah. He was in Injustice 2, I think.
Yes, he was.
I think it was
Yes,
a
he
costume
was.
for Raiden. They did some interesting stuff with Injustice.
I read the Injustice comics last year, and they're actually quite good for the most part. I have not played the game.
I'm not the person to ask about any game made by NetherRealm Studios and or Midway. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
some of the stuff
you
is
don't
just
generally like fighting games, I know.
Oh no, I know. I mean, I love fighting games, but not any of theirs. There's, I don't think, a single good example. It's like, MKX is the one people's like, oh, MKX is really good, and I'm like, yeah, I still don't like that game much.
It did have a flash in the pan fad among my real life friends. We were playing MKX a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean I played it at one of their houses, and I was like, I don't think I need to buy this. I think it's fine.
I just want to mention, we kind of gloss over that whole section with the platforms just disappearing, like, entirely, and then there was a moving section where it was moving back and forth, but Batman wasn't moving with it.
Yeah, because I don't know that I could have explained that, or even, you know, it's like, yes, that happened. We could just say what it was, and there's literally nothing else to say about it, so, you know.
I just felt like pointing it out just so...
I understand. Yeah.
I want to acknowledge that is one of the shittiest looking designs I have ever seen. Just the way it was designed, just like, the platforms fall. How do we make that look?
And again, it's really going out of its way to look as good as possible. I love how in these segments they show what the 3D rendered track would look like if it was in this version of the game.
Oh yeah.
They show a picture of it, like a JPEG of it, and they just move on to the text.
Oh my god.
Because it wasn't until Alien Soldier that anyone figured out, you know, the Genesis do this shit. But yeah. No, yeah, there are a lot of differences, though. Like, a lot more than... a lot of UI stuff. I know the Riddler clues are in, like, a cool, like, green on black, like, awesome-looking techie font in the SNES version.
Yeah.
They're both terrible, though.
Label in the SNES version, like, with a cheat code.
Yeah.
It's just sort of weird because it straight up isn't here, and there's probably not a really good reason for that.
Well, yeah, because it's like, you know, we just saw the boss fight for him. Or one of them, anyway. It's like, yeah, he's definitely in the game.
Yeah. So the soundtrack, how do I describe
it? It's better in the SNES version. It was definitely composed for the SNES version. This is an approximation of it. It's not amazingly good in the SNES version, but it does sound kind of cool.
Yeah.
Trying to be very ambient about it, you know. Okay. That's a weird thing.
What?
There's the whole... When we did this video fest, I'll say, before, when I saw the name Bloodfire in the first level, or maybe the second level, I can't remember, I was like, that'll be my new screen name, Bloodfire Ravenstorm Midnight Jr. I just actually, except for Junior, and fuck me, Junior's probably in it too, every piece of that name is a name for a thug in this game. I just saw Raven and Storm. I did not know that when I said it back in the day.
But yeah, so there was Raven and Storm, but no, Raven Storm is a name of an enemy in the second level. I think Midnight is the part you made up. Because I remember you made up...
I don't think so. I think I just saw Bloodfire, and then I listed off like a My Immortal style, like, string of goth words. If there was a Ravenstorm, I didn't see it.
That's not how I remember it, but I am by and far never going to ever confirm that.
I have occasionally watched that Video Fest again over the years. So, I have seen it more recently than SK has. He refuses to watch it because it's very cringy to him. I was just like, we were just having fun. We were idiots, and, you know, we kept making references to the Fat Man. Dude, I rewatched that Fat Man review. There is an extensive rape joke in it. Extensive.
I'm not surprised.
Extensive.
I don't remember
and I was like,
that, but I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah. It's,
in response to what?
It's in it's like a, how was this game made? And then he does, like, a Sims 2 machinima with, like, Acclaim coming over and, like, raping Mortal Kombat.
I think I remember that in the sense that I always skipped over that part, because the whole, like, mid-review sketch thing is, like, my least favorite thing ever.
You know, if you look up, Spoonie videos these days, you can find, like, okay, the entire Ultima retrospective in one video with all of the skits taken out.
I watched that.
And it's amazingly good.
Because I was like, the Ultimate series, I remember just watching the first couple of videos whenever I was still, like, into Spoonie, and being like, that's really, really cool.
Now, I'll occasionally revisit Spoonie, but the skits were never funny.
No, nah.
Like, the occasional one would be, but also, that video, there's like a couple of sketches that are funny, and they leave those in.
I don't know.
Well,
I was just never... I remember that subway car can hit you, and I don't remember what causes it. But no, that's one of those things I think it's definitely aged pretty poorly. Like, if not because of the actual video, if because of what people think of the person who made it. And I will make no defense of him, but I still do remember some of his old videos kind of fondly. Like the
I'll show the Ultima videos to people occasionally. Like, hey, have you ever heard of Ultima? Here, now you have, you know?
That one, it's made up for the fact that, like, Ultima is just so weirdly interesting. Like, it seems amazing.
And impenetrably hard to get into these days.
Yeah.
If you didn't grow up with that kind of RPG, you're not going to ever play those games.
Oh, no. The future. What is that a picture of?
That is a picture of the Riddler's box from the movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, shit, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like, yeah. It's weird, because when I was a kid, I had the junior novelization of this movie, and I read it a million times before seeing the movie, so when he's talking about, like, the box, I always assumed that it was box-shaped, and 'tis not. 'Tis not.
That would make too much sense.
And give the designers far too little to do. I've actually been, so on the side, ladies and gentlemen, I spent the past 8 months recording audiobooks of a series of Harry Potter fan fictions. And
oh boy.
I am also, doing illustrations for the print edition of the fan fictions. And when I say print edition, I mean vanity published one at a time, because they won't be for sale, because that's illegal. But I have been drawing stuff for this series and getting paid to do it. So I've been spending a lot of time doing design work, basically, because this author is a brilliant author, and you know, okay, so like I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
There's like a set of military uniforms in the books, because like you know, it's about a girl going through basically high school, and she joins the equivalent of ROTC in her second year. So I have to know how to draw those uniforms. And so, you know, I'll go through it and I'll be like, okay, here you said they're white and navy blue. Here you said they're blue and gray. It's fine, 'cause I'm not doing color anyway, but it's like I'll be going through this text with a fine-tooth comb trying to find descriptions of what they look like and hope that they're internally consistent. And I'm just imagining a designer for the movie reading the novelization before the movie was made. I know that isn't how it works, but it's like, and it just says, Edward Nigma's box. What are we gonna make this box look like? How about a pyramid, like with a little corkscrew on it, and triangles and a little woobity woobity woo? You know, like that's what a box looks like.
No, it's not exactly related, but it reminds me of the anecdote from like the Room documentary or like the book, where Greg Sestero was like, in one scene, it started off with these two characters having a phone conversation, and by the end of the scene, one of them is showing the other to the door.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember that. I have read the Disaster Artist. I have not seen it.
I actually listened to the audiobook for that one.
I should, because I would like to rewatch it, or reread it, and I think my copy is still... No, actually, my copy was never my copy. My copy I'd borrowed from a friend. I might still have it, or they might still have it, I don't know. Wait, he's in the Batcave, isn't he? I just now kind of looked back at the screen.
What?
This is the Batcave.
Batcave, yeah.
They attacked... That's the Batmobile.
Yeah, they attacked Wayne Manor, and we are getting rid of the thugs.
God, the only Arkham game I haven't played is the one that has actual Wayne Manor and the real Batcave in it. That was kind of a bummer to me, because it's like, you know, it's Arkham Origins, and I've heard mixed things about it, and you can't get a digital copy of it. You have to find a and it's like, you can find a disc for like $10 online, but it's like that. It just being that is enough of a barrier that I've never given it a shot. But it's like, it's the only one we can have like the wish fulfillment thing of like, I'm leaving the Batcave. You know, I don't think you can drive the Batmobile out of it, because I don't think the Batmobile's in that game. But still, you know.
I'm trying to see if there's like a fan favorite name from one of these guys. I'm wondering if we're gonna see it. I think he might be in the secret area. But
well, I mean, my heart is always reserved for Markwick.
Markwick. I'm trying to figure out, like, there's this part with like this panel over here is just exploding, and it's like this gray thing sticking out. I don't know what it is, because it like it stands out. But it's like a laser gun. What is that?
You know, would you not have more countermeasures than God if you were Batman and you had the Batcave? I mean, Nacho Kid.
Nacho Kid. There he is.
It might just be because I've been playing the Arkham games again, and it's like, you know, you have all these gadgets and shit. But it's like, if you have time to set things up beforehand, you could just press a button and all these guys would fry. Not lethally, because you're Batman. I have seen a video of a guy going over... It's on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but it's a guy going over all of the people whom Batman irrefutably kills in Batman versus Superman. Like, that you can make no argument that they are not dead. And he'll include somewhere where it's like, it is possible that this guy is still alive. It is not possible that this guy is still alive. I don't know what the fuck, man. He's like in an Aztec temple. What is
that? Oh, that's what that thing is. It's the laser gun that is down here now? Good lord, what the fuck was that?
I guess that's the Batwing right there, just hanging, because when you have an airplane, it's more efficient to hang it suspended from the ceiling vertically. Yeah, it's got to dry off. Well, yeah, but no, because this version of the Batwing turns into a bat sub.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The wings can shear off, and yeah. I think in the movie that happens because, like, one of the wings gets blown off, so he just, like, fuck it and blows the other wing off himself and becomes a submarine, and it's like... You can't have predicted that exact thing to happen. There's a part in Batman Returns where he's driving the Batmobile, and he needs to go through an alley that's too narrow, so he presses a button, and the sides of the Batmobile shear off, and now it's thin enough to go through. And it's like, this is not something that... This is not even Batman could predict this, you know, as a... I mean, fucking maybe, I don't know. But why not just make the Batmobile thinner to begin with? Even though there are parts of Gotham that are thinner. That's one of the great things about the design of Gotham in Arkham Knight is, like, the streets are, like, wide enough to put 3 houses in. Because, you know, you have to have enough room for the Batmobile to play around and do fun shit. So it's just like, man, the city planners loved open space. Especially since this Gotham is on 3 islands. Like, you know, it's like Manhattan is an island. And the most important thing in Manhattan is real estate. There are quote-unquote garages in Manhattan that literally have claws that lift up the cars and rotate them up in this Ferris wheel fucking looking thing because ground space is so precious there. So when you're designing that city, you gotta make sure to put in the widest streets in the world to accommodate Bruce Wayne's fucking tank.
I don't know what to make of the background here. Like, I like the water a lot. That looks really nice.
Oh yeah.
But then there's just this layer of just, like, stuff. Like, this is Riddler's island?
That is, well, which also is not an island.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like an oil drilling platform or something. But what just happened? Like what just lowered or raised?
The platforms. Yeah. Platforms. They platformed.
Pringle?
Pringle?
That's fucking copyrighted! That's trademarked or whatever.
No, it's just a single Pringle.
Are there... Oh, those are question marks. I thought those were bats flying around for a second, and it's like... That's not the right gimmick, Nigma. You should know what your gimmick... Yeah,
After
Jeremy.
everything,
Next to
just Jeremy. It's like, we're gonna either use real names or goofy nicknames. No, we're gonna do both.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this. My favorite thing is, sometimes enemies will just, like, sit there and walk towards you and won't, like, jump or anything. So if they've got another enemy in between them and you start doing that, the same thing happens. You'll sit there and punch them, and they'll just be like, They essentially just make a wall for you to infinite them.
Just staring at Cyclops. Like, you had to go with something that's in Marvel? You really did? I mean, that's not the first time that's happened in this game. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. Rocky. I love... Actually, no, I remember, yeah, the killing, or the damage floor in this is actually instant death. Pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is, toxic waste that'll throw you back out.
Yeah,
you jump into it and it just goes, nah, it's fine. There you go. Like,
oh, jeez.
And invisible Lakitu just...
No, but there is that waste from that other level where it's like, at least I assume is what it is. Like, you take damage from it, and then you have like 10 seconds of invulnerability to it before you take damage again.
Yeah, I think that's the same waste. Like, if you jump into it too far into it, and when it throws you back, it doesn't throw you out of it. You just blink forever.
Yeah. Also, oh, this segment is god-awful. So the number at the bottom left is how many of those you have to have active at once, which is, you know, all of them. But...
Oh, but they turn off after a minute?
Yeah. And you have to navigate with these screws that keep going in and out. And it is...
Oh, no.
Garbage.
Astaroth. El Diablo.
No, Del Diabolo.
El Diabolo. Diavolo. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, wow. This was not in the... Maybe it was. I can't remember whether this was in the SNES version and whether it had this, like, fucking migraine-inducing effect of question marks. Also, you need to come up with a better name than hologram, because holograms don't work that way. And I'm not saying it has to make sense in Batman, but you could just say, like, illusion or something. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
Thug? Wait, Thug now?
He, like, spawns them so they don't get names.
They couldn't just pull a random name from everything else? Like, that wouldn't be hard to program. Oh, hey, maybe we'll get to see some of Two-Face's multiple moves, or actually, more likely, probably not.
No.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be a fucking... The way you're kicking him, you're hitting him in, like, the raw part of his face just over and over.
He's gonna become Three-Facer in a second.
I remember, in the novelization that I had when I was a kid, it was, you know those, like, movie novel... God, yeah. This is the part we stopped playing when we did this before. Well, we didn't know it was gonna happen.
No, that was, like, the first time I'd ever seen it. But, like, also... I remember in the video, we were like right in the center when that happened, so he like dropped down right in front of me.
And killed you.
Yeah.
Because we were save state whoring.
Oh,
and
God,
so
yeah.
we only had a sliver of health left because this game is impossibly hard.
I was wondering how I got through this. I forgot save state.
Oh yeah, that's all we were doing.
Oh, I forgot how much I loved that shit. God.
I don't want to talk over these amazing sound effects, and I don't mean that in a joking way. The sound effects are amazing. You still have to fight him again after that?
That's not from the movie.
No, like, I think he has, like, some kind of, like, serum or something that, like, does buff him up a little bit. Or something like that, but it's not like that. Is this doing
this
anything?
Is infinite.
Oh, it
He's
is.
blocking.
Oh, yeah, he is taking damage. This is stupid. It's like,
He's just chipping him out for some reason.
Oh, and I will point out, because we might be about to finish this, when he walks, it looks like he's, using invisible ski poles.
God. Great. Apparently we found secret areas.
Secret areas, so percent.
I don't know what the hell those were, but apparently we found them.
That's the end of the game, right? It has to be.
Yeah, it's just...
He can't say, like, Batman has once again brought peace to the city of Gotham. No, congratulations,
that was
game complete.
That wasn't an ending.
I mean, I know that's not what you played these games back then. You didn't give a shit what the ending was like, because it was about the accomplishment, but it's like, congratulations, game complete.
The music in this game was made by Tim Fallon. Are you... What?
Like, clay models. Oh, clay models. That actually makes a little bit more sense than what I thought they did to make some of these sprites.
Because I know these are... Because I've actually seen it sometime, like, it was like 5 years ago. It was like something way after the fact. Someone posted a video of, like, raw footage of these actors doing weird motions. And it's funny, because they were doing things that were not in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy in the clown outfit was doing this thing where he was, like, acting like he was being crushed. It was like,
I'm sure
what the hell is this?
I'm sure they thought they were going to be able to do a lot more than they were with, like, the different kinds of deaths and stuff. But it's like, why would you show a bad guy getting crushed in a Batman game? Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to drop something on him? I still can't figure out how Fallen made this music and it's not all that good.
Well, there we go.
Well,
it came up, the next video that came up in the preview it's just a big picture of the angry video game nerd frowning. Sadly. Which I think is actually appropriate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thanks for watching this video fest, because that's what it's called. Of Batman the Forever series. On
Batman the Forever Man?
Yeah. Bat the Forever Man. Only on Sega Game Gear. Actually, it was on Sega Game Gear, but